Hey guys, it's Ben again. Today we're going to do another episode of our little series we're calling the Isolation Concert Series. And today we're going to have my buddy Luke on. Now Luke has been a friend of mine for quite a while now, and he has a little shop right next to my photography studio, so we run into each other like all the time. And through this whole lockdown thing, a lot of musicians just can't get out and do their gigs. They can't play in front of crowds, and it's got to be pretty difficult. So I thought I'd put together this little series and just give them some kind of outlet besides just going live in front of people like on Facebook, and just give them something else to do, maybe get to know them just a little bit better in the process. And Luke's a pretty good guy, and I think you'll see that when we do the interview. And we're going to start that right now.
We're sideways.
There you
How's
go. Much better. All right. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing, Ben?
Not too shabby, hanging in there. My earpiece won't stay in. All right. So, are you at home? Are you at home right now?
Yes, I am. I'm in Morgantown.
Oh, so you don't live in Greene County anymore?
There.
I didn't
No,
know
I
that.
moved August of last year.
So you're kind of like me, though. You get to walk downstairs and go to work. You know, you can still probably meet with your students, right? You're just working from home from there. Is that the idea?
Yes. Yeah, doing everything remote. I haven't taught a face-to-face lesson since the 24th of March.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I kind of like it. I mean, I know I got to get back to work at some point with the photography stuff, but I kind of like just walking downstairs in my little shop and doing some work here, and I can get used to this. You know, I don't know how long I'd last, but I kind of like it.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's most days I'm ready to go play basketball. That's how I'm dressed. So
I've been wearing the same pajamas for a month now.
Oh, nice. I figured I'd get a little dressed up for this today, just in case, anybody saw the lower half of me.
There you go. And you have a couple songs you're going to sing for us today, right?
Yes. Yeah, I got plenty of tunes, so whatever you want me to do.
Probably 4 would be good. I think 4 is a good number. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's totally fine. Original material, that's cool.
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Good deal. So why don't we just go ahead and start with the song? Let's just start off with a song. Whatever you want to start with is totally fine by me, and then we'll chat about it afterwards and keep on going. Okay?
All right, that sounds good.
All right, brother.
Yeah, this is actually, I play in a band called Madison Lately, and this is a song called Reckless. I've been watching the forecast of afternoons of clouds, and all these winter nights in a town that's full of time. I've been watching the moon from my window, wondering how things change in a world that turns so slow. I've been feeling reckless, I'm alone and moving on, and I can't tell if that's good or wrong. I've been feeling reckless, like sand's caught in stone, no matter which way I turn. But there's still on top, and say, well, I'm just gonna fall like gas on the street. I'm just getting you up, and this is my last scene. They say, kid, you doing better, kid, you doing well. If we didn't know better, we'd say no. But everyone knows that I'm a disaster. It's all because I met her. It's all because I met her. Whoa, whoa. I've been feeling reckless, like I'm a hurricane, filled with secrets and whiskey. I've been feeling reckless, like a ball through the rain. No direction, but it always sustains. No one seems to know that, no one seems to care that I'm stuck in you. They're all out there. They say, kid, you doing better, kid, you doing better. If you didn't know better, we'd say no. But everyone knows that I'm a disaster. It's all because I met her. It's all because I met her. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I've been feeling reckless, And it's all because of you. I've been feeling reckless. And it's all because of you. They say, kid, you know better, kid, you know better, you didn't know better. We say no, but everyone knows that I'm a disaster. It's all because I met her. It's all because I met
Good job, man.
Thank you.
I never know if I should clap at these things or not. I'm sitting there by myself. It feels kind of weird watching you. Hopefully you're not too creeped out by me sitting there staring at you.
No, that's like, I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 1,000 or 10,000. I always love an audience.
See, actually, I wanted to ask you about that because pretty much everybody I've talked to so far, I did this with Drew, I did this with Adam, and I asked them the same question. And right now you're singing for one person, which is me. And obviously we're going to play this back later. But what's the smallest crowd you've ever played for publicly, and how did that feel compared to this?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Smallest crowd I ever played for? Well, not counting this very moment. Well, I guess if I think about it in performance, I have a tendency of always performing at the same level, whether there's 0 or, like I said, 10,000. It doesn't really matter. Oh man, that's a tough question. I don't know. I mean, I could say 5, maybe one time. There was that late night at the bar in the winter. Nobody wants to come out, and everybody's gone in, and you're just kind of stuck playing the last call, which should have been 2, but yet it's now midnight.
See, I would think that'd be hard to do because I think with a bigger crowd, you probably don't notice every single face as much. But when there's a smaller crowd, you see every single face, and you know if they're looking at you or not, or paying attention or not, or you notice that they are enjoying it or not. I would think that would be harder with a smaller crowd.
I don't know. Like I said, I love performing. I was the youngest of 5, so I've always been wanting the attention. And so, if anything, the smaller amount of people, the better. Because I like that now they're listening. They're listening to every little detail. That makes me work harder, and I know that they're into it. They're there. There's a reason why they're there. So.
Yeah, I don't think I would have. Well, first of all, I'm not a musician. I can't sing. I can't play anything, and I have tried, and I'm just terrible at it. I wouldn't have the balls to get up there in front of a bunch of people and sing to begin with, so I wouldn't even know how to handle a small crowd or a big crowd. So tell me about that song you just sang. Did you write that?
Well, it was co-written. So Randy Blackman wrote the lyrics. Randy Blackman is the rhythm guitar player in Madison lately, and he's an excellent lyricist. And so he brought the lyrics to me, and there's been this magic between the two of us ever since that process started. And it's been so cool. Like I say, he just brings something in, and instantly I just know what to do with it.
So how long have you been working with him?
Oh my. Well, Randy started as a student when he was 9, 10 years old. And
A
Randy's
student of
now
yours,
20.
you're saying?
Yeah. And Randy's now 21 years old. So this writing process stuff happened somewhere 15, 16 maybe. So we've been doing this for, I guess, about 6 years.
Very cool. So he writes the lyrics, brings it to you, and you kind of bring it to life with the guitar. And I don't know how that works, but is that kind of what you do? You take the lyrics and put something behind it?
Yeah, we literally just sit there, and I read the lyrics, and I listen. I hear the emotion in it in my head, and melodies begin to swirl based on the word, and off I go.
I've never had a moment where I can't write something. So I've never had writer's block. It's just always open. It's this big open door all the time.
That's a talent most people do not have, I'm sure. So if he comes to you, does he ever like say, I think I want this to be a faster song or a more aggressive song, and you go a different direction? Has that happened? And how do you take two creative people like that and make that work without offending each other? How do you even handle that?
It's funny, I guess, if you're open on both ends, if everybody's open, it doesn't really matter. So, but yeah, Randy comes in and says, yeah, I do want this to be fast. I do want this to have a lighter dynamic maybe, or I want this to be slow and have a heavy dynamic or whatever. And so, and what's really nice is Randy will always say, yeah, I want this to have a Halsey sound, or I want this to have, you know, a Nickelback sound, or I want this to have whatever. Maybe Nickelback was a bad example, but
So
everybody calls it Nickelback fan. But anyways, no, and if it does take a different direction, then he's always like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I mean, want to go in this direction. Let's see what happens. And I think in the creative process, you have to be that way. You've got to have a foundation, but you got to be willing to lift it for sure.
I'm sure that's probably where a lot of bands probably fail miserably. They just can't get along and they break up, and they break up a good thing. And that's a bummer to watch. That's pretty cool that you have that relationship with somebody, because you know, feeding off of another person can be pretty beneficial when you're passionate about something and you're, you know, and it's some kind of creative field. I mean, mine's photography and I have a bunch of other things, but not music. But I get it. When you have somebody you can feed off of that has that same amount of passion, it's pretty incredible to have that as a partner. That's pretty cool. So you got another song you want to sing?
Yeah. Let's see here. This one's another original. And this song was written in my 20s. It's called Unforgotten World. And I did this song with a band I was in called Beneo. We were a 3-piece band. And this song, remember, these songs I'm doing are normally heavier. They typically, you know, have full band arrangement behind them and distorted guitar. And yeah. So these are, you know, songs that you would hear on a bigger stage, that sort of thing. So they're a little tamed down, but you know, we do the best I can with them to try and get the dynamics across. Sit down, my son, and talk to me. Breathe in the air I breathe. I can walk on air. I can walk through the water you are afraid to look into. Let me live my life, and I'll walk through your shadows all my life. Let me have control, walking down the path that divides all my life. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. Where is your soul? Did you even in the life you want? I can't find yourself after you've gone over the edge all your life. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. I cannot live in your silence, unconscious mind.
So let me go to the unforgotten world. So help me fall down to my knees. It's out of my control. Oh God, save me. I cannot live in your silence, unconscious mind. So let me go to the unforgotten world.
Okay, wait. What the heck did you just do? I know what you did with the sampler, but you got to explain that because that was pretty wicked how you did that. Explain that process. You're gonna freak some people out by that. I know what you did, but explain your process there. That was pretty badass.
Well, I do it live all the time, and yes, I'll see people walking across the room, and all of a sudden I'll stop and go, what the hell's going on? You can tell they're looking around like, I don't see a drum machine, I don't see a drummer, I don't see anybody playing percussion of any sort. So I have 1,000,000,001 influences in my playing, and some of those influences, Andy McKee back many moons ago, I remember watching this guy on acoustic doing all this percussive tapping, and up to that point I had never done that on guitar. I thought, well, why not? I'll give it a try. Well, all of a sudden I noticed everybody on YouTube was doing it. I'm like, I got turned off by it. So when I see other people doing it, I'm just like, I'm going to move in the other direction. This is kind of how I am. And I thought, well, I really like it, so I'm going to try it on electric. So I'm going to get my EQs just right. I'm going to get all this stuff set up. I'm going to get the right bass, get the right mids, get the right highs. So everything punches really well. And I had went and purchased a Line 6 amp. It was a 412 half stack. I still have it. I'm using the head of it today. I'm running through sound system, but when I got that thing, I was like, this is it. This is where I can do the percussive stuff. And then I realized it had a looper station. And what you call sampling, it's a looper. So as I'm playing, I have to hit right on the downbeat, right, to record one layer, one track, if you will. And you only get so many seconds. I think you get 10 to 15 seconds to record. And then, time it again, hit right on the downbeat and maintain that. Then I can actually layer other things over top of that. I'm actually going to play a piece for you today that does that. It does 3 layers.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to watch, man. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but I can solo over top of it. It's nice because if I don't have a band, to back me up, when you go into a guitar solo with a bunch of distortion and there's nothing behind you, people just look at you funny. It doesn't make sense to do that. So I went ahead and set this thing up, and I've been doing it, and it's been awesome. I just hope it never fails on me.
Yeah, I felt like I saw you do that at one of your events you do with your students. I think I saw you do it at one of those shows, and I was like, I got to ask him about that and how he has it set up. Because, I understand how samplers work, but, having it hit your downbeat when you start it, and then, like you said, hit the end of it, but then have it so it continues to loop, right? As soon as you hit that end point, it takes off, right? Is that how you have it set up? That's pretty sweet. Very cool, man. Very cool. So let's shift gears for just a second. So I did have a couple of questions I definitely wanted to ask you, and I like asking these questions. I can't play any instruments at all. How many instruments can you play?
It's funny. I basically play on a regular basis 6 to 7 different instruments.
That's just mind-boggling to me. I don't know how you manage that. I see my daughter play some instruments in band. Every time she picks up a new instrument, she has to learn a different set of music, obviously different skill set with that particular instrument. How do you manage that in that head of yours? I don't know how you figure that out.
Well, let me put it this way. Let's go from the very beginning. When I was a kid, 8, 9 years old, there were instruments all over the house. There was a spinet piano in the family room, and then my dad had a couple acoustic guitars. And I think for Christmas I asked for a little mini Casio keyboard, one of those things. And, I was always musically inclined. I always knew, like I understood. I could calculate in my head. It's like people who are just brilliant with math, they just get it, And I didn't get that, but
I didn't either.
With music, I did, and I've always been able to understand it. It's just always clicked with me. And so I remember messing around on this Casio keyboard, and I remember thinking to myself when I was 8, 9, this thing's limiting. I want to do more. There's more to it. I hear other people do more. I want to do more. And growing up in the time period that I did, there wasn't internet. There wasn't this what we're doing now, obviously.
Right. Well, so did your parents
interview? You had to be of a bigger name, and you had to go in and sit down with a famous host of some sort, and and do.
But did your parents, are your parents the ones that exposed you to music? Is that kind of where that started? They at least exposed it to you. Then you just kind of took off on your own, I'm assuming.
Definitely, I used to sit down at my mom's piano and just I'd hear things that she would play, and it would stick in my head, and I'd try and imitate them. I didn't understand the music at that point. And I went to Catholic school, so they had us sing in the choir too. So, they whipped us into shape in the choir. If you didn't, you got the hot coals. No, I'm kidding. Or the ruler. No, and I remember picking up my dad's acoustic before I took lessons, and I didn't know what I was doing. I watched him play. I was like, I understand he's keeping this thing upright, but I put it on my lap and I put my thumb on the strings, and I would go to town writing my own rhythms. I was obsessed with it. I would do it for hours. I used to sit on the edge of their bed and just do that. I remember wearing a callus into my thumb doing that. And finally, when I took lessons when I was 12 years old, the world just exploded. Yeah,
and you took lessons on what, the guitar? Is that what you took lessons on?
Yes. Yeah, I started on guitar, and then I got into bass guitar after that, which is kind of hand in hand. There's different techniques, but there's a lot of similarity. And then from that, I got into singing even more. So we've layered 3 instruments, and then I got into piano. In fact, I just posted a video on Facebook recently of me playing piano and guitar at the same time.
I'm gonna have to check that out because piano is something I've always wanted to learn. I've actually tried. I went online. It's been a couple of years, maybe 6-7 years ago, where I tried to teach myself piano and I had a crappy little keyboard, and I just could not stay focused long enough to really get into it. But I want to. So what's like, because you do a lot of teaching, what's like your secret when kids come in? What is the one thing you think sets the people apart that actually pick up on and keep going versus the ones that just come in because they're interested and just fall off? What's that little secret ingredient that person that takes off with it has? I know it's passion, obviously, but is there some kind of skill? Is there something that I'm missing?
It's a sixth sense, is what it is. Some people just have it for music. And some people don't initially. It just has to be brought out. And there has to be some sort of signals to that person for them to all of a sudden get that light to turn on. Right. And I know, like I was saying, I kind of had a natural knack for it when I was a kid. I understood it on a child level, but it was foundation to build from. But I know, pardon me, when someone comes to the door and they say they want to, take lessons, the first question I ask them, why? What brought you here? And, I get all kinds of answers. I get, well, my uncle plays. I watch him. Okay. So it's an influence. Or their dad plays or whoever. Or they saw it on TV. The biggest thing, and this is kind of funny, vocal students, right? I've got tons of people come through the door want to sing. And I already know where their influence came from. American Idol, Voice, America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, whatever. So they all watch those shows or they watch YouTube and they see all these videos. They want to do that, right? That's cool. That's fine. But it's so funny because I have to say, I can't stand those shows. They're the shows that are bringing me business, but I don't like them.
Yeah. A little overproduced, and
yes.
I kind of get what you're saying. And maybe they're all chasing the wrong dream kind of thing. They're not really chasing music, kind of chasing fame. It almost seems like, at least that's the way they produce the show.
Absolutely.
There's some good parts. Don't get me wrong, because we watch a few of them. But you're right. I think if that's your goal, maybe you're chasing the wrong dream. Maybe. I don't really know for sure.
Yeah, there's times, just to elaborate a little bit further on that. Since this whole thing has happened, I've given students the project. If they play guitar, they have to write a song. And so I give them a key signature. I give them multiple key signatures, and I say, okay, here's the diatonic structure of all these keys. You have to use these chords. You have to do 4 more. You have to put the progression together in any order, and you have to put a rhythm to it. Then you have to write a melody, and you have to add words to it. And so I've been going through the writing process with them. And this is kind of a make or break it moment for a lot of students. I've had some students who are just like, oh my goodness, you're asking too much, and then other students have taken off with it and they've written 4 or 5 at this point.
Yeah, I could see how that would break somebody if they're not really truly passionate about it. It's going to seem like work instead of a passion project or a creative outlet, and it's going to turn into work. And you're going to, of course, you may lose a student, you may lose a client, you may lose some money. That would be a bummer. But you're not trying to weed them out. But I get what you're saying with that. You kind of see where they're coming from.
It's good to develop truth. I mean, it's very important. If that's what it took to get you to realize that's not what you want to do or what it is you really want to do.
Right. Yeah, for me, I think my reason for wanting to play the piano is, even from a young age, I've always just wanted to create stuff. And that didn't matter. When I was younger, I liked creating stuff with electronics. I liked creating stuff with, I used to be a DJ, so I used to just create different mixes and stuff like that. With photography, I like creating there. And even with these stupid YouTube videos, I just like creating stuff. And I wish that could branch off into music. I have tried, and I just can't seem to understand or grasp it on my own anyway. I think with a little more structure and a teacher, I'd probably do okay. But I just don't have. Maybe in the future, who knows? I'll do that. But so anyway, let's go ahead and go into another song. I don't want to hold up your entire day. So we're going to go on to our third song, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make sure I didn't fall asleep at some point there. I'm kidding. All right, man. Let's jump into it.
I'll try not to put you asleep.
No, you're doing a good job. I love it.
So I'm going to do another original from Madison lately. The song's called "A Child Screaming into a Traffic Code." Got to have those long titles, right?
Having reckless dreams and don't know what they mean. My past There's always lurking, that's why I'm always running away and out of time. Stuck tracing lines while I walk that path. I know I'm way behind. Dangerous direction, falling down with your intentions. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what to do. It's like walking into traffic. Do I run or do I stay? If all I'm asking, is there a point to anything? Yeah. It's like walking into traffic. Do I run or do I stay? And while I'm at it, could you just be real with me? Just be real with me. I wish my friends could be friends. We could all just make amends. But that's too much for me to ask. How wrong of me to ask. I wish they would be real with me, like how things used to be. And I wish they wouldn't lose track. I wish you'd call me back. It's like walking into traffic. Do I run or do I stay? And while I'm asking, is there a point to anything? Yeah. It's like walking into traffic. Do I run or do I stay? And while I'm at it, just be real with me. Just be real with me. I know that things will change. Don't need your sympathy. I know that things will change. That's why I'm always worried. It's like walking into traffic. Do I run or do I stay? And while I'm asking, is there a point to anything? Yeah. It's like walking into traffic. Do I run or do I stay? And while I'm at it, just be real with me. Just be real with me.
Good job, brother. Good job.
Thank you.
I was interviewing Adam last week, and I was with Steve Barrett. He was helping me do the little interview thing, and we started clapping at the end of one of his songs, and he started shaking his head. And I was like, "Oh, the song's not over yet." completely screwed the whole thing up for him, and I felt so bad about it. So now I always wait a few extra seconds just to be sure. I think even at a concert, I'll never be the first person to clap like ever again. I was so embarrassed. Shoot. So what's next for you, man? Once this restrictions are lifted, I know you can't go out and play any gigs right now, but what's the first thing you're going to try to do whenever they allow like live gigs again?
Well, my mind didn't go towards music for a moment. It totally went towards, I'm going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, get a bunch of hot wings, and a Devil Hands IPA, and go to town.
Not a bad place to start.
Yeah. But aside from that, music-wise, I do the live music at Morgantown Flower and Feed. And in fact, 36 minutes ago, they just opened up their porch. Yeah, get out there and get some food. But a lot of places down here are opening up to where just their patios or porches or whatever, their decks are open. And I know a lot of places in the Wharf District are doing that.
Very cool. Yeah, I hope things start opening up, and everybody has different opinions about how serious this really is or not. But all that aside, I do hope the businesses start opening up, and you can at least start something down a safe path, and just because you can't just sit at home forever. And I get that. And people like yourself, you got to have some kind of outlet. You can't just
Yes.
play in your basement for one dude in his basement. That's gonna get old pretty quickly. But
That's why
this
I've
was
been posting a lot of videos, both on YouTube and Facebook. Like I said, just trying to keep up with the chops,
definitely.
performing. And I've actually plan on scheduling at Flower and Feet to bring that back up again. There's going to be a 2-night open mic there once we're able to establish crowds again.
Very
And
cool.
as you know, open mics draw a lot of people, and
They do.
So
So how about all your students? How are they holding up? I mean, you talked to, I know you said some of your students have been, or your clientele's been cut down a little bit because of this, but are they itching to get out there too? I'm sure a lot of your students
yes.
actually sing at those events. So they're probably they can't wait to get out there.
Oh yeah, it's funny. Normally, the way we do the process, especially with vocal students, but this applies to guitar as well, is I have them, develop 3 songs over the course of a month or however long it takes them, 2 months, whatever it may be. And then they get out and perform at these open mics. And right now, because we haven't been able to do them, every student's got about 8 to 10 songs ready. So that's why we're doing this 2-night thing. Because I said, hey, if you want to, like Hannah, she's got, I think, 6, 7 songs prepared at this point.
I hear her singing like all the time.
Well.
She has a little PA system set up in her room, and she practices all the time. And I tell you, I don't know how your other students are, but this has been a big change for her over the last couple of years. Just give her something to focus on. Every kid goes through little stages, and for her, it came at the right time, man, because it's really brought her out of her little shell and gave her something to focus on. And you've done a great job teaching her. So thank you for that. Big time.
Well,
big time. Thank you. I know she can't wait to get back out there again. And I still don't know how you guys get in front of people and put yourself out there like that. And I'd be terrified that someone in that crowd, even if it's one person, would not like what I was doing. And I couldn't handle, my ego couldn't handle that. I'd be crushed. But that's pretty cool, man. I'm proud of you guys. I'm very, very jealous of the fact that you guys can, have that ability to create something and perform for people and have them enjoy it. I'm very jealous of that. Very jealous.
Well, I mean, it goes both ways here, Ben, because I look at the work that you do and I'm always like, I don't have a clue. Your eye for photography, your ability to listen to people and interact with them is incredible.
I agree. I'm pretty awesome. I agree with that.
And you're an entrepreneur. I mean, look at all these businesses that you've been developing. And yeah.
I just get bored easy. My wife says that. She says, every time I get bored, I start a new business or a new idea and then drag her into it. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Okay. You got another song you want to play? You got one more?
Yeah, I'm going to leave this up to you. Do you want it to be an instrumental or do you want it to be vocal?
Oh man, I get to pick.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, your instrumental, how aggressive is it? Is it something faster, upbeat? You gonna go crazy on us?
It's called Night Winds, the instrumental, and it starts off. It's the layering one I was telling you about.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, I want to hear that. I want to see, because I love how creative you get with that. A lot of people can focus enough to pull that off. So I want to see that. That's cool.
Cool. I'm gonna move this mic out of the way here and make some adjustments.
All right. I'm gonna mute myself and let you take over, buddy.
Cool.
All right, man. That is so cool how you do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I couldn't focus enough to do 3 different things and loop once, loop again, play guitar. I couldn't do all that. There's just no way in hell I couldn't do it. All right, man. Well, thank you very much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it. You're a very well-respected musician in the community, and everybody that I've talked to absolutely loves you, and I wish you all the best. And please be safe over there. Anything else you want to say at the end here?
Oh, just thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it. This was different for me. I've never done this before.
Yeah, it's new for me too. Just kind of playing around. Give me something to do. Give you something to do as well.
Yeah, and certainly, and even though I moved from Greene County, that is home, and everybody there has been absolutely amazing. And I'm glad to hear that Greene County was not hit heavily with this. Last I heard, it was 27 confirmed cases, but
Something like that, yeah.
And but I'm just glad to hear that so many people are well, that you're healthy, that your kids are healthy, your family is, and for those who have been sick, hopefully they mend fast. So.
Good deal, man. Well, I know you moved away, but we're still going to claim you. We're going to keep you here in Greene County, even if you don't physically live here anymore. All right, man. Well, thank you very much, and hopefully we get to do this again sometime in the future. And you be safe, buddy. Take care, man.
You too. Thanks, Ben.
All right, later.